everyone. Welcome back to Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvin. I'm TV's Dave Galvin, and we're going to talk about things the travel industry doesn't always tell you. Today, we're going to tackle a question I've heard over and over again. Why do I need a travel agent when I can just Google everything? And that's a fair question. Google is phenomenal. You can search for a hotel in seconds. You can compare airline schedules. You can read restaurant reviews. You can look at photographs of practically every destination on Earth. So why would you need a travel agent? Well, because Google will give you information, but information isn't the same as knowledge, and knowledge isn't the same thing as experience. Today, I'm going to tell you what travel professionals know that Google doesn't, and why that difference can completely change your vacation. So let's get started. Google knows what exists. Travel agents know what works. Let's start with something incredibly important. Google can tell you that a hotel exists. It can show you photographs. It can show you the hotel's website. But Google doesn't necessarily know what it's actually like to stay there right now. And that's a big distinction. A hotel might have beautiful photographs that were taken 5 years ago. The restaurant might have been fantastic when those pictures were taken. The pool might have been renovated. The rooms might have been renovated. Or, and this happens more often than people realize, the hotel could currently be undergoing construction. Google may still happily show you 5-star reviews from before the construction started. A travel professional is talking to people who are actually in the industry. We're hearing about renovations. We're hearing about service problems. We're hearing about which resorts are fantastic right now. And we're hearing about which ones travelers should probably avoid. That's information you won't necessarily find in a Google search. Also, travel agents know the difference between good and good for you. Here's another problem with searching for the best hotel. There is no such thing as the best hotel. There is only the best hotel for you. So think about this. A young couple celebrating an anniversary probably doesn't want the same resort as a family with 3 children. Someone looking for nightlife doesn't want the same experience as someone looking for complete peace and quiet. A honeymoon couple may want privacy. A family might want activities. A luxury traveler might care more about service than the size of the swimming pool. Google can't have this conversation with you. A travel advisor can. That's one of the biggest differences. We're not simply asking, where do you want to go? We're asking, what do you want this vacation to feel like? That's a completely different question. Google doesn't know your travel personality. Here's something people don't think about. Travelers have personalities. Some people want everything scheduled. Other people want to wake up every morning and figure out what they're doing on their own. Some people love cruises. Other people would rather walk barefoot across broken glass than spend 7 days on a cruise ship. Some people want 5-star service. Other people would rather spend the money on excursions. Some people want adventure. Others want a beach chair with nothing to do on their calendar. So eventually you got to think to yourself, I know you, don't book that hotel. That's something Google can't do. The cheapest price isn't always the best deal. So let's talk about money. This is where people sometimes assume travel agents don't make sense. They think, I'll just find the cheapest price online. But here's the problem. The cheapest price isn't necessarily the best value. Let's say you find a hotel for $300 a night. Another hotel costs $350. The first hotel looks like the winner, but what if the $350 includes breakfast? What if parking is included? What if it includes resort credits? What if the room is just better? Suddenly the $350 a night might actually be the better deal. Travel professionals look at the entire vacation, not just the first number Google puts in front of you. Sometimes spending more will actually save you money. Sometimes spending less will cost you more. That's a distinction that isn't always obvious when you're staring at a search result. Travel agents know the questions you don't know to even ask. This might be one of the biggest advantages. When you're planning a trip yourself, you can only research the things you know to research. So think about that for a minute. You might know to ask, does the hotel have a pool? Is the pool heated? Does the cruise ship have restaurants? But you may not realize that some restaurants require reservations months in advance. You might ask, does the hotel have an ocean view? But there's a big difference between ocean view and ocean front. And then there are questions you probably didn't even know existed. What's the best side of the ship, which rooms should you avoid, which excursions sell out, etc., etc. Travel agents can also help when things go wrong. This is the one I really want people to think about. When everything goes perfectly, booking your own vacation is easy. Look, you book a flight, the hotel, the plane, you arrive, everything works, fantastic. But what happens when it doesn't work? Your flight gets canceled, your connection disappears, your luggage goes missing, and so forth. Now you're standing in the airport at 11:30 at night trying to solve a problem. And Google isn't going to call the airline for you. A travel advisor will. That's one of the biggest things people don't think about when comparing online booking with working with a professional. You're not just paying someone to make reservations. You're potentially gaining an advocate. Travel agents have industry relationships. Travel is an industry built heavily around relationships. Hotels have representatives, cruise line have representatives, and travel advisors communicate with these people on a regular basis. Those relationships can matter. Sometimes they can help with upgrades, sometimes they can help resolve problems. Having a relationship doesn't mean a travel advisor can magically get you anything you want. We can't wave a magic wand and turn a $200 hotel room into a presidential suite. But relationships can make a difference when something goes wrong or when a special request needs attention. Travel agents know what the internet isn't telling you. So the internet is filled with reviews, but reviews have limitations. So if a hotel has 10,000 reviews, that's a lot of information. But if 9,500 of those reviews are from people traveling on completely different budgets with completely different expectations than you. A family might give a hotel 5 stars because their children love the water park. You might give it 2 stars because you wanted some peace and quiet. But both reviews are completely accurate. And that's why professional advice matters. A travel advisor can help you filter all that information through your priorities. So instead of asking, is this hotel good? You're asking, is this hotel good for me? And that's a much better question. Travel agents can save you from your own bad ideas. I'm going to be brutally honest. Sometimes clients have terrible ideas. Look, that's okay. That's why you talk to another human being. Maybe someone wants to visit 3 countries in 6 days. Sure, that's technically possible, but not very enjoyable. Maybe somebody wants to fly across the world, spend 1 night somewhere, and then immediately fly somewhere else. They've technically seen the destination, but they haven't actually experienced it. A good travel advisor isn't afraid to say no. Sometimes the best service you can provide is telling somebody that their itinerary is ridiculous. Because my job isn't to sell you everything that you ask for, it's to give you a great trip. Number 10, Google gives you choices. Travel agents help you make the decisions. And this might be the biggest difference of all. Google will give you options, hundreds of them or thousands of them. That sounds great, doesn't it? Until you're sitting at midnight with 47 browser tabs open, wondering whether Hotel A is better than Hotel B. Then you're reading Reddit. Then you're reading TripAdvisor. Then YouTube. Then somebody's travel blog from 2019. Then you're back on Google, and 3 hours later, you've somehow learned everything about the plumbing system at a hotel in Cancun, and you still haven't booked anything. That's information overload. A travel advisor narrows down the choices. So instead of here are 400 hotels, you're going to get, so based on what you're telling me, these are the 3 I would consider. Now you can make an actual decision, and that's valuable. And here's the hidden truth. Travel agents aren't really competing with Google. Honestly, we're competing with the idea that travel planning is simple because booking a trip is simple. Planning a great trip is something entirely different. Anyone can find a hotel or book a flight or buy a cruise and put all those pieces together. And you got to choose the right destination, the right hotel, and the right room, and the right transportation. Planning around weather, understanding the destination, and having someone to call when things go sideways. And that's where a professional comes in. So what does a travel agent know that Google doesn't? We know that the hotel with the highest rating isn't necessarily the right one for you. We know that the cheapest price isn't the best deal. We know that beautiful photographs don't tell the whole story. And we know that timing matters. And we know the location matters. And we know which questions to ask. And perhaps most importantly, we know that a vacation isn't a collection of reservations. It's an experience. Google's a great tool. Hey, I use it myself, but there's a difference between researching and planning. And there's even a bigger difference between planning a vacation and having someone who knows what they're doing to help you create one. So the next time you're sitting in front of your computer with 38 tabs open trying to plan your dream vacation, just remember, you don't necessarily need more information. You might just need someone who knows what information actually matters. Well, thank you for joining me for another episode of Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvin. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with somebody who is currently planning a vacation by themselves. And if you're ready to stop spending hours researching your next trip, and start enjoying the process. That's exactly what a good travel advisor is there for. And until next time, travel smarter, travel better, and I'll see you somewhere around the world.